right, welcome back to what is going to be another thrilling episode of WDL Radio. Our second episode of the summer 2020 season, our 36th episode overall. I'm Human Bones, and I am joined by Alt Stab and a recurring special guest, Starrk. How's it
What's
going?
up, baby? What's going on? How's everybody doing? Look at Big Rick looking sexy over there.
Hello. Big Rick.
What's up, Starrk?
Fellas, watch your ladies, man. Watch your ladies around Rick right now.
It's good to have you back.
Yeah, man. It's
been a
be
while.
back. It's been way too long, dude. It's been way too long. I missed you
Well,
guys
it's
a little bit.
interesting. You started off the season as a free agent. You did not get drafted. And in the middle of week one, you find yourself on a team. Not a lot of time to get used to that team before you go into the first game. Second week, you get a full week of practice. You guys come out, kick some ass. So it must be fun to be playing with Infer and the rest of that team, Cartel.
No, yeah, it's a fun team to be on. I mean, obviously, I missed the entire preseason, so like I really didn't expect to get drafted. But I figured, like Ralph says, if you stay around, you may get picked up. You may very well get picked up, especially this season where there's 10 teams and there's already been some issues, with some players. So you'll get your opportunity, and then having that week of practice afterwards, Infer is a fucking really good captain. He's a lot smarter than people think. I mean, his movement is on point, and he knows how to like instruct this team. He knows how to give out directives. So I've had real good fun playing with him. Cartel, I think he's relatively new. I mean, not super new, but he's been playing a couple of years, and I've seen his skill. When he first came on, he was a decent fragger, but right now that guy has a big potential to be, a huge fragger on offense or defense. So we're trying, Infer's trying to guide him the right way as far as running and stuff like that, or whatever he does. But the good thing about this team is we all play every position, so it's been fun, and it's nice to get back, and it's nice to get a win. So after getting shellacked the first week, I think that was kind of like a wake up call to us. Like, listen, we need to put in the time, we need to put in the practice. I mean, I got there a day before, but still, we got crushed, and we figured out what was going on. But our communication game has just been, it's getting better and better, and it's just looking better and better for us. So I'm excited for what's to come.
Yeah, you guys took it to us for sure. So
I know you don't like that map, Eric. I know you hate that map. So that also has to factor in there, because I think if it was a map that you liked, it might have went a different way.
I think you're being kind, but I'll take it.
I don't think you like that map too much. But yeah, our game still, we still went out there with the expectation that it was going to be a rough game. So, and if we give you guys opportunities, that's what you got. It's really, when it comes down to most of these games, is whoever gets the opportunities, whoever wins the most of the opportunities. If you stop the other team from getting opportunities, those are things that play into that. So, if you don't let your opportunity, that's how you can beat like a high level dueler. If you spawn frag him, let's say you're playing him on Judas, if you spawn frag him, you can technically beat him there, but you can't give him the opportunity to start showing his skill and to get comfortable and stuff like that. So
yeah, you gotta capitalize when there's options,
Yeah.
And I think this map, being vastly different than week one, the focal point of map 22 was the sphere in the middle. So a lot of it came down to teams being able to time that better than their opponents. Just having that teamwork, that knowing where each other was and being able to really come in the clutch if somebody grabs a flag, they need to get out. Having that teammate come up to help them. I think there was you saw a lot of trained flags, like one guy dies, another guy picks it up, one guy dies, another guy picks it up. So that was really cool to see. Not a lot of, actually none, no 3-round games this week. And that was an
Was that right?
mistake. Yeah.
And the one team that lost on, I think it was on red, was just suck. Every other red team won this week, other than that game. Sorry, Ralph. I just it's an interesting point, but
Well,
it's crazy. It's
I
crazy
suck.
that last week went that way. How the hell did every blue team won? Or
I
every
believe so.
team
I think
every
it was,
team that was colored, that was colored blue won their game.
yeah. And then Suck broke the curse. So, it was a really interesting week. I thought it was a good map to go for week 2. Like I said on our last radio, I think it's a really good team building map. So I think you saw a lot of good teamwork from teams this week. And so our first game of the week actually was best ever and the Demon Slayers, which like I said, only 2-round games, but it was a lot closer. When you were watching it, the game was a lot closer. So let me throw up
Yeah.
the stats here.
No,
I'll
for
just go
sure.
through them real quick.
They didn't get I think it was like 3 minutes or 4 minutes like we did against BST. They were holding their own for a while, but what ended up happening was I think that there was just a little bit of a lack of offensive pressure from them because they were holding their own. I mean, they were taking on BST with 3 people and 2 people, and then to take them to time is it's a feat in of itself if you're going up against BST or someone like Rosking or an aggressive team like that. But they did hold their own. They just have to find ways to get opportunities now to go, send one guy out, leave 2 people in the base, let them deal with it. Send one guy out at least to go try get the flag, because if they know they can all push up, they're just going to keep you in your base the entire time, and they're going to have more opportunities than you to get their flag because they're literally right there. But
It's kind of like you were saying about the last map. Like you sort of want to dictate the game flow towards what you want to do, like what your idea was in practice, what your plan was. I'm sure they got something different, and if you're not putting enough pressure on them, and you're getting pushed back into your base, well, it's them that are working their game plan on you. At that point.
Yeah. No, it's real easy to get overwhelmed on that map. It's real easy. Like it really doesn't take much. I remember having to make call outs to one of my teammates to say, just go. Don't stay back. I got to take care of this. Just go. Someone has to go out and at least try to get the sphere or try to get the flag, whatever's up at, whatever's most appropriate for that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you end up at a point where it's like, you're all assigned positions, but it's really like whichever one of you grabs the sphere at any given time. If you have enough health, you should go for a run, because you really need to take advantage of those extra health runs. So that's what it became like, at least for my team, which was just constantly trying to get the sphere. It doesn't matter who got it, just get it and go. And then, then you have that kind of communication, like, okay, this person went, so then you have to fill in their position, and so on and so on. So it's really interesting.
And I think you saw that. Pardon, sorry, but I think you saw that, like, in my game. You kind of saw that the teams that had time to practice, the reason my team lost, is simple. We just didn't practice.
Yeah, I didn't see you guys on for a while.
Schedules, But ideally, you would like to be able to have communicated plan ahead of time so that you can do something like Bones is saying. Just rotate, pressure. This is kind of a pressure league, which is a little different than it used to be. I think a little more defensive. Back in the day, things.
Yeah. You're starting to see more 2-0 now.
Mm-hmm. Especially in next week's map.
Oh, for sure, in next week's map. This next map is going to be, there are going to be some wild games next week for sure.
Yeah,
I'll leave my predictions.
We'll get
for
to
later.
that. But
I'll leave my predictions for later.
Yeah, no jumping ahead. This is what I get. Sorry, I'm not preparing something for you.
What happens when you leave? Look at him. He's in that suit. He thinks he owns the place now.
Yep, all right, fucking CEO of WDL Radio.
Yeah, right.
So the stats were best ever and Demon Slayers. So BST got 66 touches. They had a 10% cap percentage. DMS got 50 touches, so there's a difference of 16 there, and a 7% cap percentage. I think that's pretty close. But the difference here is that best ever actually got 24 pickup touches. So they were doing a lot of that kind of training
That's a lot.
Putting
Jesus,
their-
24.
It is a lot.
They are good with that though. That is a team that's very good
Yeah.
with
That's kind of their specialty. This map, especially. In terms of frags, really, really close. Best ever, 274. Demon Slayers, 271. High fragger was ACC with 134. So you can't really. I think if you look at those things, the touches and the frags, I think you got to go with the pickup touches. That's the real difference. And best ever had 31 power up pickups. Or maybe, you know what? No, I'm sorry. There were 31 power up pickups total, the whole game.
Ross King, I think, had 20 of them. Jesus Christ.
Yes, 20.
That's control. Yeah,
so that's
that's control right there of the sphere entirely. Not to say that the DMS wasn't holding up defensively. They took them to time, I think. But just that much control of the sphere will literally tilt the favors in your, the
Gives you so many
the
more
odds in your
opportunities.
favor. Yeah, you'll get way more opportunities with that. But I think they will get it. I think DMS will get it together. I'm sure Alpha figured that out. Like, listen, we need to be a little bit more offensive. Maybe they'll practice being a little bit more aggressive and just leaving. Who else is on that team? I think it's Alpha.
Dranzer and
Alpha Dranzer. Those are two. Yeah, and Hatred and Dranzer alone could just, those are two big fraggers there. And even Alpha himself is a pretty decent fragger. Alpha just I think, maybe he should go more offensively, have Dranzer push up, be that really fraggy mid, and leave Hatred. He'll take care of it. I think he'll, you could leave him solo day.
Yep.
And if they apply just a little bit more offensive pressure, I think that BST game becomes a different, it becomes a whole different ball game. Maybe they take around with that, just by having an equal and opposite offensive pressure of what BST is going, what BST is giving them.
Yeah,
So,
we know Alpha can run.
Yeah, the kid's good.
It could work. I can see that working for sure.
I'm sure they'll be practicing that week. This week.
I'm sure he's going to figure something out. They do practice. They put in the times. So, and I trust Alpha will come up with something. The real question might be who can pull off that rocket jump.
Well, yeah.
Now we're really jumping ahead.
Yeah. Bones has lost control.
No, but I think
you brought on both of us at the same time, and you've lost control of the show.
Yeah. That's okay.
You did it to yourself.
Let's do a 4 hour show. I think you saw DMS really improve from week 1, though. I mean, I think they held BST for a couple minutes before they kind of blew things wide open. So they really had some stuff working for them. I think they actually had a lot of times where they got flags out into the middle and past the middle, and they just couldn't bring it home.
Yeah,
so that's something to build on. I mean, they play a lot better, and actually they switched out their fourth. They switched out Dosu after the game, and they brought in Pero. So maybe they're looking to have.
So is that his first return? Is that his first game back? In how many years? It's gotta be. It's gotta be a couple years.
This will be, if he plays this week, this will be his first game back. Yeah.
Pero?
I fucking love that guy. Yeah. But if they, it all depends on what he sees goes on in practice this week, as far as what he's got to put together the pieces. He has to practice with different parts, different people. And then he can figure it out from there, what'll work. Pero's a good player. I don't know I don't know if he's been playing consistently, but I know that realistically, if you're going to put him to run, you really don't need him to frag like that. And I don't know if running like kind of rust like that, in the same way that your shot would on defense.
Right. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Right. Running and shooting, running and gunning, you're swing shotting and kind of, it's a feel thing. It's sort of like an athletic, on the fly thing.
Yeah, it's a reflex thing.
Reflex. Yeah. So I could see that.
Yeah, well, this actually puts BST with 8 points, another 2-round victory for them. So they're sitting at the top of the leaderboard here. DMS, they have 1 point, so they're not quite.
They're doing good.
Still got some work on. Yeah, yeah, best ever looks like a force this season. Let's move on to the second game that happened. That was the Steel Ball Runners versus Sexual Panthers. Throw up the stats here. So, Steel Ball Runners, they had 54 touches.
Are we going to do an MVP for each match like we did last week? Was that a thing, or am I making that up?
So
we can make it a thing.
What I did last week, we can make it. But after we talked about all this, I said pick an MVP for the week. Want to pick an MVP for each game? We can do that.
No, that's a terrible idea. Sorry. Production meeting, everybody. Over. Moving on. Sorry.
Yeah,
we'll lose the member.
Anyway,
about it.
So looks like. Okay. Focusing now.
I'm fucking high. Yep. Should not have said that, but okay, go ahead.
4.69% cap percentage for the Steel Ball Runners. Sexual Panthers had 36 touches with a 15.79% cap percentage. So that's the difference there. The high scorer in that game was Toby. Toby had 4 caps. And then the frags, pretty much even. Steel Ball Runners had 255 frags. Sexual Panthers had 276, and the high fragger was Dragon. So I can talk about that game a little bit. I decided to run, which is not something that I typically do because I'm really slow and I don't use SR50. And yeah, I just haven't been a runner for a long time. And so yeah, it was an interesting strategy to use, but I felt like Dragon being in the middle, fragging people, he's pretty good at that. I mean, he notches like 80 frags, 90 frags a game. So
no, that was a nice tunnel run. You had a nice
Toby was
little
really
tunnel run over there
as well. Yeah, really funny about that. I was not doing that at all in practice until the last day, and I saw Dragon do it, and I was like, huh.
Yeah.
So I tried it in the game and it worked twice.
Really.
So it was really.
The chat was like lit up. Everybody was like, "No way!" Like he's going for the tunnel run. Even I think on the stream, Zen was like, "Oh, take notes. This is the way to do the tunnel run." But no, you made it. Like you cleared it almost perfectly. That was a pretty good. That was a pretty good run on that. On that part. But
for somebody that runs into walls all the time and like the movement fucking sucks. I'm shocked. So yeah, it really worked out well. So yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good game. Like SBR came out at round 1 and they knocked us. Like they went up two flags right away, and so we were like on the edge of tilting. Like both Dragon and Toby were like, "Fuck, I'm playing horrible. I was like, "Well, I'm gonna play horrible no matter what. I'm running, right?" So we were able to get it together, and luckily we came back and won round 1. And then in round 2, it was kind of more of the same. I mean, I can't speak for SBR, but it wasn't like an easy win at all. They had a really good combination running with Legion and Caution. Caution in particular was pushing up and like spawn fragging the shit out of us. So really good combination there. As it turns out, after the game, Steel Ball Runners traded Legion to Stab for Denzola.
I thought it was good. I think it's a good trade, a great trade, because Stab works well with Legion, and possibly Denzel works better with Zakin. But I think it was I thought that was a pretty good trade because I figured Stab would have wanted Legion. You guys have played before, you have the experience together. I feel like you guys are like good together as like a mid-O combo. So I could see why the trade was made. From Stab's perspective, that they get along well. They've played several times together, several years. It didn't matter, but that should be interesting too. Now that GPS has Legion.
Yeah, I think you were on that first team back in 20 something. The first team I captained, I think it was you and Legion and J Warrior and Zanero.
Yeah.
And then, I forget which of you I traded Zanero for, but it was Zanero and J Warrior almost killed each other in the first practice. So I had to trade one of them immediately. And I think I picked you up.
Yeah. I play good with Jay Warrior. He's a smart player. He's a good player.
But yeah, I played well with Legion, and my team needed not only a shakeup, performance wise, but like I was saying earlier, practice wasn't happening, so schedules,
Yeah.
uh, were clashing. So I had to bring somebody in that could make it all work. So I think I got that now.
It's in the best interest for your team to do that, especially for practicing.
And I love Denzel. I've played as much or more with him than I have with Legion, but I had to do something, and I think I found a good home for him.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, like him and Zach, and that should be a pretty powerful team. And
Right.
Yeah.
Because Zakin could play mid theoretically, and Denzo, they could just leave Denzo on D, and that would give him more offensive power. Zakin supporting Jake, that's a pretty that's pretty scary.
Exactly. Bones is what is he doing? Are you running an ad for your shirt? What are you doing? What was it?
We just start from in the cube.
Did we see? Do we have a sponsor?
I think the fans also want to know who is that guy that just randomly appears behind you? Is that your roommate?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
And no.
Oh, nice. Oh, you should bring him on the show. You should bring him on the show one day.
I've enjoyed.
Like, do you have to explain like this like even just this broadcast like what it is to him? Like, does he know that you play Doom and stuff like that? I mean, he has to because you're definitely at the computer standing there playing every day. But
there's acknowledgement of what's happening here. Yeah. It's pretty lame. From everyone else's perspective,
okay. Whatever, man. It was a joke, but yeah, I forgot where we were going with this, so you're gonna have to take control back over the show.
Don't mind if I do. Anyway, that was a good game, and a good trade, I think, for both teams. I think Legion. I've played with Legion like a million times. He's just the most solid support player you could probably find. So I thought really good trade for you. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys play. And let's jump ahead now to the Obelisk Glom versus Giant Pea Shooters game. Why don't you guys talk about that game first? Why don't we go start? Why don't you talk about this game? Talk about your preparation for the game.
Oh, dude, we practiced every day for 2 hours, literally, leading up to that game. Like, we literally practiced every single day for 2 hours. 3 hours sometimes. I mean, I can't tell you how many times. I got sick of that fucking map. But basically, we wanted Cartel to O because he's a super fraggy O, and Infer was going to mid, and I was going to D. Pretty much, Infer really, like, glued that team, glued everything together. He took Cartel's fraggy, his frag power, and he used it for himself to get some runs. There were a lot of pickups, the communications over the week. I mean, it just improved dramatically. We were able to pinpoint where somebody was like that, and that just comes from practicing 2 or 3 hours a day with them, working on communications. After every match, saying, "Listen, you need to call out for this certain situation. Oh, this situation happened to us before. Okay, so how can we address that next time so that everybody knows?" Infer really thinks these things through, and it's amazing, but it works out perfectly. We had to work. We really practiced. Me and Infer really working together because I need to get a feel for him, and he needed to get a feel for me. Even though we're in the same clan, I really haven't played with him in that many matches. Yeah, but once we got things together, like he figured out what my call outs would be or how I played or what I had a tendency to do, and then now we're able to play off each other where I really don't have to communicate with him now. I just know, all right, he's there, this is likely what he's going to do, and this is what I'm going to do to support that, So it's just been, it's been nice practicing with him and having that type of, I guess, dedication from a captain to make sure that we cover all our bases, because communications is a Doom skill. It's like having Doom IQ, having a good shot, being able to run, things like that. It's part of the tool set that you need to be a good high level player or a high competing team in this league. Because if your communications are terrible in certain maps, even let's say, for example, the next one coming, somebody rocket jumps out, you have terrible communications, he could be in the base already. I've already gotten. I think Rosking did it to me 3 times in practice this week, where he was able to get out, like he gets in and he got out and captured the flag. I think in like 4 seconds. It was something ridiculous where he it was just nuts. In the traditional one, and they can go out just where that top is at, where people can jump across, where you can get there. Just a simple regular rocket jump. But even things like that, even going out, they have the lava in the back, things like that. So it's ridiculous. But
yeah, where were we? We're on GPS's game with. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't have much more to say about it. From my point of view, we could not practice until the day of, and the day of. We put forth the best lineup that was working that day, a couple hours beforehand. And, I guess it's a good point of, it's a good point, or a good place as any to illustrate the point that Starrk was trying to make, that, communication is an important skill. And, a team that kind of had no plan or, and a real lack of like any sort of, polished communication running on a map like that, we got stomped, so practice makes perfect, even for a team full of veterans, And you guys played a hell of a game too. And Starrk, by the way, no preseason, no problem.
I've been doing. I'm not gonna lie. I've been dueling a lot and trying to make sure that my shot gets back. But that like I said, we practice for 3 hours every day. So
it showed.
We were doing that. Cartel too, man. He's surprising me every time.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude can frag. He really can frag, and he can also. He had, I think, 7 caps or something like that. He's got 7 caps with a 25.93% cap rate. I didn't know he could run like that. I always assumed he was a defensive player, but he's just surprising us at every turn, and hopefully we could, foster his development going forward so that he can be, like a Rosking or something like that. Someone who's, very aggressive, very fraggy, just insanely fast, things like that. It'll be nice to see that, especially from not younger players, but like newer players that are now surfacing to the top.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't I might be very wrong. It wasn't Cartel. Didn't we know him back in the Z Damon days as like Cobra or something? Or am I way off?
It might. I think because that sounds familiar, but I know that's where I first met him, was Z Damon.
Right. Oh, as Cartel. Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
I thought Z Damon, he was a pretty heavy fragger. He'd run around pubs, and he would top the list on the other side, and And so it's always good to see a player like that I don't think was in the IDL or anything like that, or the WDL. Or no, he was in one season before. But it's always good to see them, progress.
He was a main pick. Yeah, he was a main pick of the team. And for put money for him.
Oh, and one last thing, props to Infer for cobbling, like you said, gluing. I mean, I thought that's where you were going when you were saying gluing together. The fact that he'd lost. His main pick was Despero, right? Who he spent the most money on. And
I think so.
Not even in the league, really. I think he just has no schedule to play.
Yeah, I think things may have changed. Don't quote me on that, but I would welcome that addition to the team, dude. Because if he's back, and
you heard it first, folks, on WDL Radio. Breaking news.
It may work out. Yeah, it may work out that way. I don't know the details, but I do know that it's a possibility that
Well, either way,
we could see him back.
Either way, like he did his job then, going 1-1 in these games without him putting together, and he was without somebody else on his team. Just I think had to resign from the league.
Shift.
Shift. And
Yeah.
Shift, I know he had big plans for Shift as well. I was hearing a lot of talk about Shift like before the draft started from a few people, like saying like, "Hey, you might want to check this guy out." So I know he had big plans with him, Shift, and Disparel, and then all of a sudden he's got this.
Got a hot take from Fran. Cartel was Cobra.
Oh, confirmation.
Hey,
Illuminati.
Look at that.
Illuminati confirmed.
I got it. Yeah, he was good.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when he was terrible, and then he got good.
Yeah, he started dueling a lot more, and I started to see him there. And then in the pubs, like you said, he would just be at the top frags.
Mm-hmm.
With the way that Z-Damon counts their frags and their points, it's a bit different. But still, you can still get an idea of how many frags somebody had.
Yeah.
Through that system. What is it? I think flag pickups are like a point. These are irrelevant anyway.
Well,
it doesn't matter.
If you get a pickup score,
WDL baby,
cap, but it's separated. Yeah. So let's go through the stats real quick here. BQB got 41 touches, 18% cap percentage, pretty good. Wow. GPS had 33 touches, 4.88% cap percentage. Like I mentioned, Cartel got 7 captures with almost a 26% cap percentage. So 1 out of 4 times he was touching the flag, he was scoring.
Yep.
Good. Frags, BQB got 194. GPS got 170. High fragger was Infer with 77. So it goes along with what you were saying. Infer is a force to be reckoned with. Do not underestimate
he really
Infer.
is. Yeah, people have been underestimating him, and it's not. It's been called. He's a lot better than than just running or anything like that. He can do a lot of things, and he's a smart player.
He's showing that he's not just Pippen to Rosking's Jordan. That's
right,
kind of
right.
In the WDL as previously is kind of like Rosking's right hand man.
Yeah, that's exactly.
All right. So moving on to Ties Only Fans versus Rip and Tear.
Jesus Christ!
Stats here.
328 frags.
Yeah, let me go through these stats real quick. So Ties Only Fans had 56 touches, 11.27% cap percentage. Rip had 39 touches with only a 3.70% cap percentage. Big captures here. Daston had 6 captures that game. Ties Only Fan frags. They had 328. And Rip had 265. And the high fragger was Ed. Ed kind of went off in this game. He had 155 frags.
Ed, you are a fucking animal if you're watching this.
Yeah. 172.22% kill death ratio, giving out a whopping 16,119 damage.
Is that a record?
So
could that be a record? That might be a record.
Might be a record.
Jesus,
it's
Christ.
Pretty damn high.
Jesus.
So yeah, I think the turning point of this game is Ed.
Yeah,
Ed just completely controlled the middle. Didn't let Rip do anything. They didn't let Rip return any flags. They didn't let Rip grab any flags. He was just insane in the middle there. And Ties Only Fans looking like a top contender this season so far in both weeks.
Look, they got Daston, and obviously they have Ed and they have Ty. With Ed playing the way that he is, he was literally doing everything that game. He was controlling that game literally by himself. But Daston too, man. 6 cabs. Daston is proving himself, to be a good runner. To be good. Pretty much, he's versatile now. It's just nice to see that. Now, he put in the work, and now he's one of the top runners in the league. 6 caps, against Rip. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But like I said, Ed just to have somebody frag that much, it's impossible to get an opportunity, to do anything. And even if Rip's solid, their play was solid. It wasn't like it was horrible, but if you don't have an opportunity to do anything, then you can't. Basically, you can't do anything.
Yeah, it's funny. I was looking at the stats. I think I was talking to Ralph, and I was looking at the stats of this game. I was looking at Stahl's stats, and I was like, damn, how did they lose this game? And then I kind of moved over to the other team, and I was like, I guess I see how. It was
Yeah. Stahl is solid as fuck, but
you wouldn't think you would see a stat line like that on a losing team, especially a team that they lost in 2, right? Because there was no 3-round games. So yeah, they must have, right? I'm not looking at it right now, but so that's not a stat line you usually see on like a team that got swept. So it's crazy how good
it is. It's crazy to look at those stats and think that they lost.
Yeah.
What? That's not to take anything away from Rip. I still think that they are, they have the potential to be a dangerous team.
They're a playoff team for sure. I mean, look at the 2 teams that they just played, right? Who was week 1? I can't actually remember, but it was a good team. I remember thinking at the time. So
I believe it was the Boomstick Warriors.
Yeah, it was
another super impressive team. So yeah, I'm sure their schedule is going to lighten up a little bit because Ty's only fans, like they're going to be in the playoffs. I think the favorites, like Starrk said, and then Jay Warrior and Dev's team, I can't remember the name, they're going to be in there for sure. So
Boomstick Warriors.
I would expect to see Rip and Tear in the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure.
Improve,
for
definitely.
sure.
I mean, I think that they're still trying to work out like how they're going to play with AVC. Because AVC kind of missed that whole first week of practice, and then
that kid is good, man.
There's probably more available. Yeah.
If
he's still a top tier runner.
I mean, seriously, like AVC, right? With how good we all think and know he is, right?
Yeah.
Give him a mid like Stahl putting up stats like that. I would not want to be the next team on this team record schedule. Sorry.
Yeah.
Which is
that kid's gonna come back. ABC is gonna be he's gonna be gunning for those flags come the next game. And if they practice and get it together, that's gonna be bad.
Yeah, they could turn into something real scary.
Yeah, well, they're gonna have to wait till next week because Ty's Only fans grabbed this one in 2. They are close to the top of the leaderboard, getting there. Like you said, I believe that they're a huge playoff contender. Probably the favorite heading into the playoff after week 2. Our last game of the week, I think we all thought it was going to go a little differently, maybe be a little closer, but it was the Superchargers versus the Boomstick Warriors. So I think you have to say that the Boomstick Warriors have put in the most practice thus far this season. It's like they've been practicing relentlessly every night, and it really paid off here. Superchargers got 53 touches with a 4.48% cap percentage. Boomstick Warriors got 43 touches with an 18% cap percentage. And the captures were actually split up between Devastation and J Warrior. Devastation got 6 captures. J Warrior got 4. Whereas, last week, Azrael got those 91 touches. Everyone was expecting him to run. They kind of switched things up, confused everybody. It's a good strategy. Suck had 204 frags, and Boomstick Warriors had 210. So the high fraggers were all pretty close to each other. Blair had 79, J Warrior had 78, Azrael had 77. So I think, like I said, I think the amount of practice, I mean, Superchargers practice a lot too. I think they just got caught in some weird situations, and they were just overpowered in the middle. Like they were really aggressive on offense. And I think that actually hurt them at the end of the day. They left their base open a little bit too much, and between Dev and J-War, these are 2 really smart guys. They were able to, kind of cut in behind the defender and get some flags out. And the teamwork that they had was really good.
No,
so, you got to hand it to them. Superchargers, of course, they come back to live another day, but and we got to see the debut of Solar too before I forget that. So that was cool. That was cool to see. But congrats to the Boomstick Warriors.
No, yeah. I mean, I think you pretty much covered all the bases. Devastation and J Warrior. That's probably two of the highest Doom awareness or IQ in the league. Two of definitely the at least top five for awareness and stuff like that. And I feel like they practice situations where they maybe they anticipated that Suck was going to be aggressive because just by Ralph's running nature itself, he's super aggressive, fast. He'll get in, get out. You'll kill him and he'll come back and he'll take your flag back in less than 2 seconds. It's ridiculous, but like you said, their communication was probably crazy. Was probably really good. With J Warrior having the top frags and 4 caps at the same time, that just goes to show that they were in, I guess, in unity on everything. Like they were in sync with everything that was going on. Things were being shot. Things were being communicated. I'm sure. This is where the flag is. All right, I'm gonna go for a touch. I'll drop back. Things like that. I could see coming from Boomstick Warriors. But yeah, like I don't think it's the end of Suck. You can never. Suck is always back, baby. I love Ralphus. I love K Blair. Obviously Solar. All of them. But I wouldn't count them out by any means.
No, and like you were saying, I think what it also shows is that what J Warrior's stats show is that Azrael was doing his job. Like
Yeah.
on Ralphus. Actually, I don't know if Ralph was running. Now that I think about that, because it must have been Prime in round 1, which brings me to kind of the real story of this game. I feel like, the story to me is what happened after game 1, between game 1 and game 2, when Ralphus made, maybe an error in putting Solar in for Prime, when at the end of game 1, I think Suck had started to turn things around. It looked like they were starting to, compete. Like, okay, here we go. It like there got to be a point in the game late where I felt like, hey, if they keep doing whatever they're doing now, it's gonna be a close one. It's gonna be tight. And then Solar comes in and he's a little cold off the bench, maybe. You know how things go like that.
It threw them off. It threw off they were getting momentum, and it kind of threw them off doing that. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I don't know, so maybe he would take that back if he could. I don't know. But because that second round was nothing like the first round. The first round, it was kind of like a back and forth. I don't think Suck took the lead back, but it was like, it looked like it was going to be all Boomstick Warriors, and then Suck started to come back and look like, Suck of all. I think Ralph got back-to-back, or they got back-to-back caps.
Yeah.
Anyway, so an interesting one for sure. And like you said, Bones, not really what everybody had expected. I don't think there were a lot of bets. I
bet Suck
on the.
I lost.
Some was, but not as much. They were the favorite.
I do have to say I bet 1,500 on Boomstick Warriors, which is why I'm currently sitting second.
Okay,
I'll throw that out there.
I think I lost $500 or something like that.
Amateurs. I thought I thought it was an interesting move to bring Solar in, and I don't think that Solar played badly at all. But I felt like Prime, like I think I mentioned it on the stream because I commentated that game with Zen, and Prime I thought was kicking some ass. Like he was just on in round 1, and yeah, I mean they lost, but I was just surprised that they switched it up. Like sometimes you lose a round, but it's not like that shit didn't just completely go off the rails. Like you just had a couple situations where
you start figuring them out,
but you want to try it again. Yeah.
Yeah. The end of the round.
I felt like that was the case.
Yeah.
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 But Ralph made the move, and it is what it is. I mean, Solar.
Right. He did the he made the best choice that he thought.
Yeah. And I'm not. Let me clarify. Sort of at all. Like you said, I thought he actually did pretty good, and I think it was like a tied game for 4 minutes or something.
For a bit,
for a bit, and then things as they can, they get can get out of hand on that map. They did get out of hand quickly, but I don't think I'm not placing any of the blame here on Solar. Solar's awesome.
No, I think, who knows what would have happened in round 2, but Boomstick Warriors just had a really good plan, and they executed it really well. So.
Yep. All the credit to them, for sure.
So, that was a fun map to play, I'm sure, for you. And we're moving on. We're moving on to Mephitic Waste, which is a great map, actually. Let me change the background here real quick. I have a really cool memory of this map.
It's been a popular map in the league for a couple years now, right? Wasn't one of the, the championships played there?
Yes, yeah, the most recent one, I believe, was played there. I have a really good story about this map. I was playing Demon Sphere, and he picked up our flag and he made it out into the middle, and he tried to rocket jump, and he rocket jumped like up, and he hit the wall, and the wall just like
did he bounce off of the wall? I remember.
Yeah, he bounced back completely.
I remember.
And you could just see him. I think you recorded that, and you could just see his like POV, like, what the fuck just happened to me?
He just stood there. Funny. He was like, "What the fuck?" I remember that he bounced off the wall, and everybody he just stood there with the flags. He was like, "What the fuck?"
And it was like all three defenders were there too of the other team. Like all three of them were there at mid and watched him just like launch himself away. And they're like, bye flag. And then he just like hit the wall like so squarely. It just like
he was so mad.
And he landed like right back in the middle of them. And they're all just like, wow, what?
No, that was a turning point in that game. I remember because if he had made that, we were not playing well. Like, we just weren't. And if he had made that, I think they would have went up like 2-0 or something. And that map's just hard. And I was so fucking thankful that stupid shit happened to him.
And
I was able to return that flag. And like, it just sucks,
For anybody listening that doesn't know, like, that's not supposed to happen. Bounce.
That was
supposed to hit it and then just fall straight down.
Right. Like, normally. Not like the ball's made of fucking rubber or something like that.
Right.
But that was ridiculous. But yeah, this map is very it's a high powered map. Super fraggy map. Think like 31. Like everybody's everywhere at the same time. Like there's a lot going on in this map.
It's small. Right?
Yeah, it's small.
Really
there's a lot
small.
of things that you can do on this map. It's ridiculous.
Well, I think the main feature of this map that you see a lot of people taking advantage of is being able to rocket jump. Like, whether it's running directly into a base and then just fucking grabbing the flag and going, or coming from the top, dropping down and just rocket jumping back. Like, and it happens like that, like in a split second.
Yeah.
That can blow a game wide open. It's just 10 years ago, you never would have seen something like this, so it's really cool. I think it's a perfect map for week 3. Now teams have gotten to know each other. It's like, all right, let's throw you into this shit. Let's see what you can come up with here.
Test you.
Yeah, it's a great map.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's got that blue armor there, so there's.
I was gonna say technically it's a power up map.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as important as a sphere was in 22. But it's a power up there nonetheless. But it will save you, especially if you're going to rocket jump. That's going to help you a lot. Like you can already rocket jump in this map without taking a lot of damage, and you can get across quickly. So that only adds to your arsenal of taking. I think the blue armor takes half that. Like half of the damage that would be outputted, or something like that.
Yep, till it's gone. So. Like, and it also is kind of in a different area of the map than the rocket jumping.
Yeah.
So like it forces a team to keep an eye on it. You can't ignore it. It's gonna lead to ground runs out, and then you're gonna have to be thinking about that when somebody's gonna be rocket jumping. It's a bit, So if you don't pay attention to it, somebody's just gonna get it and then run out of your base. So you have to. So it's a thing that adds to the level of confusion, that goes on in this map, because you're worrying about that, you're worrying about the rockets, and there's like this lift.
You're worrying about people jumping across without you hearing.
And it's such a small map.
It's ridiculous.
They're back in your face a second later. So
yeah,
it's and so things happen quick. Matches end quick sometimes too.
Yeah. It's easy to get overwhelmed on this map too, even more so than 22, for sure, or 14. Was it? No, 22 we played. 14 is a map this week.
Yeah, 22.
Yeah.
I don't know numbers.
No, I mean it's like do you completely ignore the armor here and just like go for the run? Like I don't know. You can. There's an argument to be made about whether you just make as many touches as possible and kind of throw things off. I think everyone's natural instinct is to push up.
Yeah.
And not just sit back in the base. So it's going to be an interesting one. I think this is going to be game of the week, maybe even game of the season. Calling it week 3. We've got Ty's Only Fans versus Best Ever.
Oh yeah.
So we've seen how strong both of these teams are.
100%.
I've played Rosking on this map in the playoffs. Not fun.
Not fun.
Fucking hated it.
I practiced it yesterday against him, and it was not fun.
Yeah. But then on the other side, you got Dastin. And it's like Dastin versus Rosking.
The most impressive player I've seen in practice this week has been Dastin. So, right, you're going to have Dastin on one side, Rosking on the other side. It's going to be great.
It'll be fun to watch. For sure.
Matchup of the season. I can't even begin to make a prediction here. Like the combination of Rosking and ACC, they're gonna outfrag. Well, I mean, see, you match them up. Okay, match them up with Ed and Ty. Even if Ty decides to use Galactus, I mean, or Dastin, all of them, they can all frag a ridiculous amount. You assume Dastin's gonna be running because Dastin's a really good rocket jumper, and he's just quick like that.
Yeah.
But if someone else on his team grabs the flag, he can cover as well as anybody. I mean, he's a heavy fragger. So
he has a good shot.
They're like the impossible matchup. So you match those guys up. I think the unknown here is going to be Skull Rush, or as Best Ever picked up Ionic Donut as their 4th. I think that's going to be the key. Like, how well can these guys perform against kind of what we're looking at so far as a super team? On TOF.
Yeah. Well, I think they'll be fine. I mean, Rosking, I think he's gone out of his way to take these players specifically to play, to actually train them and stuff like that, which is really cool. And, we encourage it, obviously, to anybody, who has the time to do it, show a newer player how to get better or build a new team, or develop players so that the league is better as a whole, things like that. But I know he's going to figure out a way, and I know he's going to be practicing a lot and figuring out what works or whatever. But he himself on this map will be, how he plays will decide how this map goes, no matter what the other variables, I think. I mean, obviously, ACC, he's going to do his job, I feel like, and take care of D, but Rosking's going to be all over this map. But remember, Ty's Only Fan has Ty, it could be Galactus or Dastin, and they have Ed, so it's just going to be a matter of, it's going to be a frag fest for sure. And I don't know if any team can get out. It's going to come down to things like rocket jumps probably and getting out the base that way very quickly, something that Ed could, Ed or ACC couldn't catch up to, because it's happened to me where the guy will come in, rocket jump out, and he's out. He's out. He's gone. There was no chance for me to get him. So I think it may come down to that, if not anything else. But
it's a map, I think, where like it's going to be incumbent with the 2 runners that we've got going on the defense in the mid. So you're going to have Ty and Ed on one side, and we saw what they could do last week. So I think it's going to be on, ACC and refresh my memory.
Skull Rush,
yes. So, that's
he's been good, man. He's been playing good.
Yes, I mean, that team has been playing good, so of course he's been playing good. So I think this is going to be a tough test for them, But Rosking usually performs like his team super well on that map. So, he picks it as his home field and stuff. So, right?
It is his map.
Yeah. It is his map. Yeah.
Speaking of which, Legion, Rosking said he's got a new epic jump on that map. Watch out.
Oh, sweet.
So I don't know. Maybe he'll use that bouncing off the walls thing to his advantage instead of.
Wait, Legion says Rosking has a new. Okay, yep. I was thinking you were saying Legion does. I was real happy for a second. Legion, figure that shit out.
Does Legion rocket jump?
Oh, Legion rocket jumps. He has been so.
Jump
No, honestly, he surprised the hell out of me with one of them rocket jump runs you were talking about, Starrk, with Rosking, where it was like 4 seconds. I swear to God, it was like, I was going in to support him, and I didn't realize he was rocket jumping out, and all of a sudden he was like scoring. I was like, wait, when'd you cross?
Yeah, no, he just jumped. No, this was like a normal. It was like, the normal one where you just jump up, you rocket jump up to the normal side, but he jumped across, and I didn't think he would be able to get there that fast. It doesn't make any sense.
That's what I mean.
You can cross one of that top there. Yeah,
exactly.
That top, but I don't know.
Well, so he can do it.
I can't rocket jump, and
I've seen it.
I can't even look up and down.
I don't use mouse click on this map either.
I would love to see Bones running this map. Can we please see a human Bones?
Oh God!
Offense on this.
Hey,
map.
Listen, man.
See him bounce off the wall.
I can run.
He'll probably put
rocket jump. It's not a big surprise. I
can't rocket jump consistently. For sure. There would be no, and I would definitely fuck up in like a real match, let alone like a practice. I would not trust myself. I'd rather just try to frag my way out.
Who knows what you'll see this week? Predictions. Ties Only fans, best ever. What do you think?
I give it to Ties Only fans because of what I was talking about. It's going to be a test for an untested duo in a mid-D combo, right? With A cubed, is it? A squared and
ACCC.
Skull Rush. ACCC. A cubed. Okay. Wait a minute. Like A3. Is he an A3? No?
I don't know.
I thought maybe I was just on to something. Maybe I'm just on something. All right. Moving on. Let's go. Sorry.
Conspiracy theories. I don't know, man. I think BST takes it, but it goes 1-1. It goes, BST, Ties Only fan, and then BST. So what is that? A fucking tie? Who said test?
Oh, is this user comments down here? Is that what that is?
That's what I've been throwing.
I just realized that.
Yeah,
I thought this was an
ad.
I
discovered
thought this
it
where
while we were
sponsored
here.
Went. Oh, okay.
I'm sponsored by Legion.
But no, yeah, I think it's gonna be very close. I just think BST might be able to pull, to pull it off.
Yeah, I'm going Ties Only fans, but like saying that right, like Ties.
It's not gonna be.
It's Roskin's map, man. So yeah, I don't know.
It's going to be, like Bones said. I think this is the game of the week for sure. It's not. It's going to be wild.
It's also our first game of the week.
No, that's crazy. So the first game of the week is the game of the week is the first game of the week.
Yeah,
it's America's game of the week. For the world.
I think I gotta go. I gotta go with Ties Only fans in 3, but mostly because what you guys have said, which is, I think it's just going to come down to really how BST's third performs. I mean, I know they can perform, but I mean, when you just match them up player to player, I think Ties Only fans has them by a little bit. So we'll see. Next game. 2 teams that are probably coming off losses they weren't expecting. Rip and Tear versus Suck. So it's going to be, Ralphus versus AVC trying to get those runs out. You can't tell me that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
AVC, we've seen him rocket jump clear across like map 20.
Yeah.
He's a really good rocket jumper.
Yep.
And Ralph is not. He's no slouch himself either. So it's going to be interesting to see those two guys going up against each other, and the defense. I mean, Stal on a close quarters map. Got a bad matchup this week, I think.
Yeah,
I don't want to go anywhere near that one.
Also, K Blair too.
And Blair, yeah.
I would not want to be in a close quarters room with Blair. Literally and figuratively.
Maybe in person. Yeah.
I have been there. And believe me, you do not want to be there.
That man is intense. Oh my god.
Yeah, Joe Blair.
But no, yeah, they're both. Those are going to be. I feel bad for whoever has to run. Ralph and ABC both have to run against both of these guys. So, maybe end up being like a battle of wills or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be an interesting
and it's going to be, this is a pretty new map. So like guys like, Stal probably hasn't played it, but even guys like Chain and Prime, they haven't played it either. So how are they going to perform?
Oh shit!
It's an interesting mix of like old and new players with like ABC and and then you got players coming back from like you got some Encino Man players as we like to call them, and then you got Ralph who's been around forever. Then you got ABC, huh? What are you gonna give me a really on that? Really? Yeah, it should be really good, man. And also, you got a team desperate for a win, right? In RIP. I mean, like we've said earlier in the show, like we expect these guys with that roster to make the playoffs and to probably make a little run in the playoffs. But like, are they going to get to the playoffs if they're 0-3? I don't know. Not in this league, or it's not guaranteed in this league. That's for sure. With the way teams are playing. So. And then I'm sure Suck coming off of, like you said, an unexpected loss, 1-1. They don't want to go to 1-2. So big game. Should be good. Oh, prediction. Are we giving predictions here?
Yeah, prediction.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Rip, I guess, because I played them in practice or I watched them play. Can't remember if I played. They look good, so. I don't know, man. This is kind of a toss-up to me. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think I wouldn't bet that Ralph would want him to have a back-to-back loss. So Ralph might have the boiling rage this week to just power his way through everything. I think he's going to make the preparations that he's going to need. Any adjustments that they need or anything like that. K Blair, you could leave him back there. I'm sure in the showdown versus ABC, it'll be fun, but I think his shot is good enough to at least contain him for, to give Ralph opportunities to get by. So, I think that it'll be 2-1 Suck.
Okay.
Yeah, I think just looking at it from the perspective of a team that, like RIP, that hasn't won a game yet this season, Sucks at least won a game. They got some points on the board. Rip's really got to do some work. I think they're going to be desperate. Going to be hungry. They're going to try and rip and tear Suck to pieces. I'm going to go with Rip. Rip in 2. That's my prediction.
Are you hungry?
Third game.
Or are you starving?
Well, just stay quiet for a minute.
Third game. Boomstick Warriors versus Sexual Panthers. Comedy hour here. WDL Radio. I don't have much to say about it because it's my game, but I am not looking forward to playing Kevin J. War here, or Asriel, or Godlike. I think that's a really good team. They put in the work. They put in the practice. Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough one. I mean, this map's kind of weird. It's weird. I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to seeing some cool rocket jumps, and I'm looking forward to being really confused when somebody grabs my flag when I don't fucking see him going to the base. So that's how I feel about that map.
I'll just say if Bones is on defense and he can't look up, No, I don't know. I mean, right? I don't know. Maybe I got a point there. We'll see. What do you think, sir?
You might. Like I think Bones over the years, well, not over the years because this map is it's not new, relatively new. It's kind of new, but I think he knows how to play this map. I think that Dragon will be able to compensate for that. And I forgot who the fuck they were playing. I mean, it's also tough though too because you're gonna probably have Dev on D. You could have you could have Azrael on D probably, and Dev and J Warrior to deal with in the middle. I know
Does
J
Dev
Warrior.
look up? Can Dev look up? I don't think he can.
I think he can. I think he toggles. I think he toggles.
He can toggle it for sure. Yeah, he can turn it on and off. That man is that is not a average. Yeah, he probably has a way to take care of that, but to give himself the option. But J Warrior can definitely, I think, rocket jump, and their communications will be good. So I mean, it's just going. It's good. This is going to be. I gotta say, it might be a tie. To be honest, I can't go either way because realistically, it can go either way. It just with Bones and Dragon, that's a pretty that's a really good really good combo. Wait, you also have Toby too, so I mean, Toby may have some familiarity with the map, but Toby's also a good player too, and I think he does mouse look too. So he's got he's got options. They've all got options. So
got options.
I could see it going either way, but I'm going to say it's going to be a tie. Because one of them is going to figure out the other one for each match, and I think, it might, there may be some opportunities there. I think it's really going to depend on Azrael's play as opposed to anything else, because if you're going to leave him back there on D, and J, what do you call it? If you're going to leave him back there on D, that, Dragon can also rocket jump very well too, and I would imagine Dragon's gonna go for some touches too. He's gonna support O if he's not O'ing himself. So like I said, you know what? I'll go with SXP, but it's
always changing it.
But it's very close. Yeah, you know what? I'll go with SXP. It's very close, but I just have a hunch.
The betting line is closed, motherfucker. You can't change your bet. Change your prediction.
And by the way, no, it is not. And should we make some sort of announcement, by the way? Like, we have betting now available. Do you want to tell the folks about it, maybe, actually? Might as well.
Oh, yeah.
It's a new feature that we put in this last week.
CEO of the WDL, Big Rick.
I do believe we mentioned it last week, but we haven't gotten involved in it. It's a new betting feature.
I'm gonna let you know right now. All my bets do not follow my predictions. I'm telling you right now.
Nobody's going to. So
if you good.
I wouldn't listen to a fucking word you ever said.
Good.
You're good.
Good. They were all
this
good.
Guy, he celebrates just a little too early, so you can't really and he bets too early.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Anyway, you can bet on games. You got matchups. You can bet some money on some games. You get free money when you first register. Bet on games, win some more money.
How can folks find out how to register?
Folks can find out how to register by going to the WDL Discord and viewing the channel, The Book. And I'm just going to throw Rude's name out there. You can bother Rude if you need some help, but I think pretty much anybody in the channel is willing to help you. So,
and we can mostly thank Rude for this. So yeah, thank you, Rude.
Yeah.
I just got the celebrating joke. It took me that long.
How much have you been smoking?
Too much. That refers to a time where I was playing with Bones and Ralphus one season, and I think I celebrated. I think we won. I thought we had won the game or something like that, and they were like, "Why?" Bones was like, "Why the fuck are you celebrating?"
I was on the other team.
We didn't fucking win. Yeah, yes. Team.
I just got some breaking, well, not breaking, but info pertinent to this matchup. Turns out Dragon, this is breaking news to some people, also doesn't look up and down. So I'm thinking I'm gonna now change my
Fake
I don't even know what my prediction
Fake-
was, but I'm
news.
going with the whatever their name is, the Shotgun Warriors.
The
Well,
Boomstick Warriors. Jesus
Shit.
Christ.
I think
You don't even. We're 2 weeks in.
I think whoever fed you that information is not
That's
paying
fake
close
news.
enough attention. Maybe, yeah.
Other side of
really?
the wall for you.
I don't know. We'll see. See what
Okay.
happens.
I'll check
I'm not
my
gonna give away
sources.
Yeah, I would. That person seems really unreliable. Moving on.
Okay.
We got the Steel Ball Runners versus Oblesk Blom. Steel Ball Runners, of course, new lineup, trading out Legion, bringing in Denzoa, so it's Zach and Caution. And Denzoa. What do you say about a team like that? Right? And
Well, I
Fran,
can't say.
of course, can't forget
I
Fran.
can't say anything. Thank God. So let me just stay quiet for a bit. Big Rick, I pass it on to you.
I mean,
okay.
I was still talking, but that's all right. Go ahead.
No, Bones. Carry on. Please.
I don't know. I don't know what I was gonna say.
Liar.
Then you got Starrk's team over there. You got Starrk in for Cartel. Really strong group of guys on both sides, and I think there's a lot of versatility there. You know, a lot of these guys can rocket jump. A lot of these guys can defend. They can play mid. They can frag really well. So it's kind of like the perfect matchup for this map. I mean, I don't know. I would suspect that it's going to be really high scoring. You're going to see a lot of things happening on that top area. You know, whether it's the rocket jumping or the jumping. I think there's a lot of smart players in this game, this matchup in particular. Yeah, I think it's going to be one of the higher scoring games. You're going to see some really good like last second returns and some really good covers and training. So I'm really looking forward to this one. And it's really cool to see Starrk getting some games in now. He's part of the team now, you know. So they're going to come out firing on all cylinders here. What do you think?
And this is Brazil versus Brazil, right? Two Brazilian captains
Yeah.
fighting against each other for survival. So that's interesting. What was did you throw a prediction out there yet, Bones? Or are you going last? Is that what's going on here?
I'll give you. Okay, I didn't throw a prediction out there. It's a really hard one. I think because I'm gonna go with the teams that are, you know, winless so far and the most hungry to get to make sure that they don't have, you know, an 0-3 record. I got to give it to SBR here. On top of the fact that, you know, I think they're a really good team that just has some stuff they need to work out. I think this map's going to be a good map for them to finally get into the win column. So I'm going SBR in 3.
Okay.
3 fingers. 3.
Yeah, you know, having just played Starrk's team and having Starrk in the room, you know, I want to, say good things about their team's chances. However, I think this map is going to come down to like a team chemistry, and I just kind of feel like Zach and Denzoa are like two of those players. You know, it's like I don't know. They just
it's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, they go together so well. Like I think that they're just gonna integrate so smoothly. You know, over the years, these guys, you know, they've just been great friends, and
Great
so
enemies,
I
great
can't see this possibly not going well for them. You know, so I would say that gives them the edge in my mind. Just that core.
This could actually be the game of the week.
That core friendship is going to tie their team together and carry them to victory.
The dramatic implications of this game make it the game of the week. Yeah,
that's all I got to say about that.
So, last game, then we've got the Giant Pea Shooters and the Demon Slayers. Why don't you talk about this, Stab? Why don't you give us your thoughts so far on the map, and you know what do you think about going up against another team that is you know, both of these teams, your team and the Demon Slayers have not won yet, so you're both hungry for it. So I can't use that argument. So what do you think about going up against, like, you know, Alpha, who as a captain has made some really strong draft choices. You know, he picked up Hatred for $28, steals Stranzer for $1, and then adds Pero into this equation. I think that's a pretty tough team to go up against.
Right, yeah. So I don't know who the lineup's going to be, but I guess it's really going to come down to, you said we're both hungry for a win, right? We're both 0-2. But who's starving?
It might be because I haven't eaten dinner, but I just love that word hungry, man. I think we both hungry for a win.
GPS is starving.
For it.
That's all I know. That's I'm not going to predict my own game, but you know, better bring your stuff, Alpha.
Yeah.
And good luck.
We're all watching you.
Yeah, and truthfully, I don't know. It's it doesn't for my team. It's like I think we would have lost to any team week 1 and week 2 personally, just because we've hardly been a team. So for us, this is like a fresh start. You know, this is like you know, can we maybe, you know, pull off a win here and stay in the hunt, you know, and maybe something happens, great. I mean, if not, you know, we'll be fine, whatever, you know. But at least hopefully I can get some practice in this week, which I already have, and hopefully things go a little better. That's what I'm hoping for. You know, want to put a good game out for all you guys out there.
Nah, man. You know, I think Alpha's gonna come for your throat this weekend, man. I think he's gonna bring it. I think it's going to be close for sure.
He's gonna drop some weights on your throat.
Yeah, one of his powerlifting weights right on your chest.
Dude, did Alpha get jacked?
Yeah, dude, he's super jacked.
Did he? Oh,
Alpha,
yeah. I haven't checked the Facebook in a while.
Dude, he fucking
I mean,
he's Facebook
not
anymore. But not as jacked as him. But
fuck was
you know what? I think they're going to get it together. I think their game against BST was indicative that they can hold pretty strong offense. So if they figure out a way to get some offense going, I think you could just leave Hatred back there to take care of everything.
I just thought of something. Wasn't there a game where they had a ton of flags like at the stand?
Yeah,
get them in. That was them, right?
Yeah. They couldn't just get that last train, that last part of the train back. Like it was.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they were, like I said, they came out against Dom. The team is on obviously number 1 in the league.
Yeah.
I think they held their own for a while, and then obviously things start to fall apart because if you're not giving offensive pressure, your defense is going to crack. No matter how many people you have in there, they're just going to have more opportunities than you. So I think it's close, but I think they just edge you out 2-1.
Oh, come on, buddy!
I think they just edge you out 2-1, man. Prove me wrong. I would love for you to prove me wrong.
Oh, well.
Take this as the motivation, baby. What do you call it? But I think they edge it out. If he figures out a way to do that, then it goes that way.
Yeah, we'll see.
Perfect.
All right.
This is what I like to see. This is what I wanted. I want to see a good fucking game. I want to see Big Rick with firing all his pistols all at once.
Those are our matchups for week 3. Go through the times here. Ties Only Fans versus Best Ever is tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern.
Wow.
Rip and Tear versus Superchargers tomorrow.
What?
8:30 p.m. Eastern.
Listen up,
back to
Doomers.
back.
We've got 4th of July weekend, so we're having to do some crazy stuff. So listen up. I'm waking everybody up. I put them to sleep. Now I'm waking them up.
All right.
Warriors versus Sexual Panthers, Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern. Another doubleheader. Steel Ball Runners versus Obelisk Blom, Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Last game of week 3 is actually Monday night. Giant Pea Shooters versus the Demon Slayers, 11:30 p.m. Eastern. Real quick, we forgot to do this, even though we talked about it. MVPs for week 2.
Oh.
Anybody?
Yeah, I was gonna go with my take about Azrael again, because that team continues to impress. They just took down Suck, and it was his ability, I think, to keep D clean by himself that allowed Jay Warrior to put up those insane stats as mid, and Dev, so with those capture percentages, So I mean that's a real heck of a team, and as the third on it, he deserves praise again week 2. So I'll go Azrael.
Wow. I'm gonna have to go with Rosking. Not Rosking. I'm sorry. Jesus Christ, I am sorry. He played well. Don't get me wrong. You played very well.
I was gonna give it to Rosking. Maybe I should.
I was gonna give it to I was gonna give it, but Ed just I think he might have set some records in his match. We have to check the numbers on that, but that's a ridiculous. I just
forgot about Ed.
Ed changed that fucking game. Like Rosking would have definitely had it, but if Ed didn't have this game, I would have definitely given it to Rosking. But Ed may have shattered some records for frags in a single round, damage in a single round. It could be that, but his presence just alone on that map was just ridiculous. Without Ed, I think it would have went a different way. Just him. How do you frag that much? And he was all over the place. That was peak Ed. That was prime Ed. So yeah. I got to give it to him this week, just for the stats alone.
I was gonna do that too. I forgot.
I like when we all have someone different.
Yeah, that's good. Anyway.
I'm gonna go with Cartel. Cartel, he got 7 captures week 2. 26% of the time that he touched the flag, he was scoring it. Those are some groundbreaking numbers right there. So I gotta say, Cartel.
And I'm gonna do co-MVPs, so I don't slight Azrael. And I'm not gonna change it, but I'm gonna say Starrk also MVP.
Oh,
no freaking preseason, no problem for this guy. Okay, look at him go.
Trying, baby.
All right,
trying.
That's it. All right.
I'll at least give Starrk MVP of this week's radio. How about that?
All right.
I'll say I'm good with that, Bones. That actually means for the audience. That actually means that he thinks I'm MVP too. So that's just his way of saying it. This is his language of love.
I hope that you come back and do some more radios with us. It's always fun,
man. Always a fucking pleasure.
All right. Well, we'll see everybody next week for week 3 recap, week 4 preview. Human Bone, Starrk, and Alt Stab. Thanks, everybody. See you guys next week.
Gotta give the big Rick. Love you, baby. Later.